Next, Senator Nancy Ruth, Cluny, Ontario.
I want to ask this question to both of you. It's really about the impact of internet shopping. How is that productive or counterproductive in creating Canadian markets? It might eliminate some of the costs that have been mentioned, and what does that do in terms of the Canadian character?
Yeah, I'll give a simple version, but I know Professor Vassos is actually an expert, so I'll let him do the elaboration. I guess a simple version is that these online opportunities basically facilitate the transfer of information, right? And so you can get online, you can have shopping bots, it can do comparison shopping. There's incredible efficiencies there. When you couple that with things like smartphone technology, you can figure out the convenience side of the equation. Where's a store that's closest that's selling it for the price that I'm looking for? Couple that with, which was addressed earlier, the labor costs. A lot of these online firms, it's pretty much robotic. And so they have these warehouses where they go and get the merchandise, pull it together, package it automatically. You eliminate a lot of those labor costs. And so I think that the movement in that direction is going to put pressure on the market to have more parity. Now, it's not going to happen on its own, though. You still have to look at things like brokerage fees and the time delays at the border. There's a lot of reasons why people don't shop online, and that would have to be investigated to understand why it hasn't fully taken off as much as one might assume that it should.
Yes, web-based shopping, I think, does a couple of things. One, it starts to make the U.S. price more transparent, so we more readily see what those price differentials are. But it also makes the uplift prices more transparent. So, for example, I recently bought some motorcycle saddlebags, which cost me $45 on eBay. But by the time I paid for transportation and duties and things like that getting over the border, it was more than double the price at $100. But I still bought that product because it was roughly the same as the landed price here, plus it had some features that maybe some of the other local ones did not have. But people shopping in that manner now at least start to say, hey, those same charges that I'm getting paid for that eBay transaction, those retailers have to pay to get them into their stores in Canada, the transportation, the cross-border, the duties, etc. And so it starts to make it visible. Whether or not that will placate consumers and say, okay, I'm okay with it now, or they're still going to be unhappy to say, okay, well, why are those duties there at the border? Why are those transportation costs so high? And it's just the nature of, and once again, entering a market that's further away from your home market. The transportation of reaching a country that goes from coast to coast with, like I said earlier, a population less than that of a single state in the United States, and those costs need to be paid, and that ends up being part of the cost. Over and above that, though, I think even more powerful than the web-based shopping is a couple of other technological trends that I think could actually help to reduce those Canadian prices. And those two trends are at least one of those trends is smartphones, and another one of the trends is web-based shopping comparison tools. So whereas before, if you were buying a product in a Canadian store, how often would you go to more than a couple of stores to compare prices? Probably not all that often, because it's too much work to drive from one location to the next to the next. With these web-based shopping comparison tools, though, I can say that I want a certain flat panel TV screen, and it'll find the price of 200 of them nearby and tell me the exact price of each of those so that I can see which retailer in Canada has the lowest price, the lowest uplift to the U.S. price possible, and I can go straight to that particular retailer. On the smartphone side, it's amazing how many people are now shopping in stores with their smartphone in hand, and before they buy that flat panel screen, TV screen, they're actually comparing prices on their smartphone and can actually see the price of several online retailers and even see the price of that TV screen at several retailers in the neighborhood. So now I don't have to drive to 10 different stores. I can see the price right there. And if the price is $5, $10, $20 less at a retailer just up the road, I can get back in my car and go to that retailer and buy that TV screen. So that more perfect information compared to before where we had imperfect information should also put price pressures on inefficient Canadian retailers that have an uplift that is too high relative to the US marketplace. So this is another really powerful factor that I believe will start to diminish that price differential over the years to come.